Welcome to your 4x4. We're exploring some of the best destinations just out of Melbourne with an epic 5-day road trip. It's day 2, exploring the Tallarook State Forest just to the north of Melbourne. Your 4x4 is presented by Iveco, Trek, ARB, Cooper, Narva, Piranha, Boss Aluminium, MyCOOLMAN and Patrolapart Navarapart.
The Tallarook State Forest lies 90 k's directly north of Melbourne and offers a wide diversity of forest trails, challenges and activities for four-wheel drivers, bushwalkers, trail and mountain bikers, hunters, campers and more. In 1880, the region gained notoriety when a recluse dubbed the Tallarook Wildman was discovered living in the mountains. And it's these very wild mountains that now attract so many four-wheel drivers to the area. As a part of the Great Dividing Range, there are numerous deep gullies and steep climbs, a number of lookouts and plenty of campsites. With limited time today, we're focused on the southwest corner of the forest, covering Mountain Track and the Mount Hickey Lookout, and a number of steep climbs around Jenkins and Dick's tracks. Our day begins at the Flat Rock campsite, with our convoy packing up and getting ready to have a play on some nearby rocks.
Second day of our 5 forests in 5 days. Pretty pumped. We're out here in Tallarook.
Hello, good morning.
I've never been here before. What an awesome spot. We're not far off the Hume Highway here.
Only an hour north of Melbourne, and it will be another fantastic day today, I think.
This is the proving ground, loaded with deer, loaded with wildlife, some brilliant tracks, great rock steps. This is the place to come and have fun.
Had an awesome day yesterday out at Woods Point. This week I'm in the driver's seat, so I've kicked Aaron out.
Yesterday, Woods Point, I had Lachlan with me on his L plates, did a lot of driving, really enjoyed it, had a great time. Today I've got James, hasn't got his L's yet. I'm sure that won't be too long before he'll be behind the wheel.
Obviously Jim was up here with Cliff and he got to drive. Cliff said, Jace, what are you doing? We got this invite to come up with Simon and do some four-wheel driving around Tallarook, and I went, unreal mate, no problems, I'll be in on that.
Morning everyone and welcome to Tallarook. We're going to start with probably the hardest, most technical track we've got, which is just flat rock track behind me right here, down over a little drop off with a few rock steps. Low range, tyres down to about 20 PSI, we'll take it nice and slow, nice and gentle.
Dave and Maria from Boss Aluminium turned up this morning in an awesome 6x6 Land Cruiser. Serious bit of kit.
So we haven't been to Tallarook before. It's going to be pretty exciting to see what's out here. It'll be a great experience all around.
Definitely.
I want to see this 6x6 get on some serious tracks. Simon likes to test himself, but I think he might have met his match.
Let's get onto the tracks, guys, and have some fun. Thank you.
Yep. I've been told that the theme of today is rocks. We're going to have heaps of rocks, heaps of tracks with rocks, and on top of all the rocks is moss. So I know that we're probably going to slide around.
2 seconds out the door and we're onto our first track and bang, we're into it.
It's quite short and quite sharp. There's a lot of rock and some big holes.
Had to put a couple of boulders in just to make the track navigable.
Simon being Simon says we're all going to do it, we're all going to go down it, we're all going to come back up.
First obstacle for the day, a nice little technical section of rock, and we've packed it up for the smaller IFS vehicles, but I'll try and find the biggest holes I can. Dropping into the first one now.
Simon had a really good idea. He said we're going to do it one by one, down and up, which gave everyone an opportunity to get out and be able to watch.
And that's how we do it.
Simon did great. He pulled up and set himself up and then pulled me in right behind him and said, Jace, you're going first.
Bring it on down, Jace.
It doesn't go very far, but it's really rocky and quite gnarly. You get to the bottom, turn around and come back up. Piece of cake, mate. Oi! One little bump.
Simon mixed it up and made people take different lines in different cars, and people really pushed their boundaries a little bit, which was awesome.
All right, let's do it, Tyler. You know, really need to pick a line and stick to it very tightly, otherwise could end up with a bit of a bent step.
There was a few little hairy bits, and I guarantee you, if there was water flowing down those rocks, it would have been interesting.
A lot of rock steps, you really got to take it easy, be very careful, really tricky in a manual gearbox.
and low range?
I was on my own. It was also quite helpful that one of the other guys was always willing to give me some advice. He hopped in the car when it was getting a bit challenging. Everyone is extremely helpful. It was quite a good day.
It was interesting to see the mix of vehicles. We've got Andreas in the MyCOOLMAN Prado that's completely boxed up standard. And then as of today, we've got Boss in their 6x6. So watching the two different cars was really interesting. It was awesome to see the Boss 6x6 drive over it like an RC car.
Everyone was able to watch each person go down the track. We got to see the big six-wheeler climb over whatever it needed to, and everyone was capable and everyone actually got up and down it.
We literally just went down it and came back up it. What a bit of fun to spot the cars, get them through, building up some steps for the IFS vehicles, and just having a good fun start to the day. One of the really good tracks inside here is Mount Hicksey, and Simon was absolutely chomping at the bit to get us up there.
It's a really interesting track. It's got lots of little rock jumps up and down, but you've really got to be careful where you position your tyres.
You must be happy that you changed the tyres before the trip.
That was absolutely crucial. I think the tires make a big difference.
It was fun watching all the different vehicles, how they handle it, getting their lines right. It really gave us good variety.
It wasn't actually that hard. I was expecting a much more difficult run.
Simon, I just heard Andreas say that it was not as hard as he expected. I think we might need to find something a little bit harder for him.
Yeah, we've got another track coming up that'll be
Quite a challenge for Andreas. I think he's going to enjoy it.
So one of the first objectives for the day was the track heading to the summit of Mount Hicksey.
Thank you, Simon.
This track I have done before with Simon. Again, it was in the rain, but nonetheless, still an awesome track. Heaps of rocks, heaps of what seemed like vertical sections that take you up to a lookout.
It was quite challenging in some areas, especially for me as a beginner. The tires went really like a carpet through all the rocks.
Looks kind of scrabbly, so just going to lock it in first low and just cruise and see what rocks we kick out.
That was a few easy bits, and then...
Yeah, then it got a little bit more technical and a bit more rocky.
The Mount Hicksey track is quite a nice little undulation heading up. It was also quite technical. There were quite a few big rocks.
We got rid of the blue Hilux and I've been transformed into the black Ranger. This is the beast. This is the car that everyone's in. It's the best-selling car in Australia last year. You got the Hilux and the Ranger being the two top cars. We've thrown a huge amount of gear on this truck. The car is kitted up with all our jungle bar work and our side steps. Got a 2-inch lift kit. It's got the Cooper tyres on it. We've put the Carryboy canopy, Titan roof racks, a solar system. We got the Piranha battery system inside it, MSA drawers. As you know, I do a lot of food on the trip. We've set this up like the 100 series. It's become the Ranger Cafe, as the old Toyota Land Cruiser 100 series cafe. This one's fully loaded up with the MyCOOLMAN 105. Love the Ranger for this type of stuff. This is typically what our customers are coming to see when they come into our shop. So we want to take it out on the tracks and show them what it can do.
We stopped at the top of the lookout to have a bit of a morning tea.
What an amazing lookout. It's the one place here you can guarantee you're going to get every bit of mobile service you need because the tower is there. And what we didn't realise is the fire lookout tower is there. So the man in the tower here is watching out for fires, watching the forests, looking after to make sure he's in the lookout tower. So we just spotted him, so we're going to give him some morning tea. Let's go over and see how we're going to get him up to him. Hope I don't have to climb up there.
Mike wouldn't be Mike without offering to give him some food.
Old mate's up there chatting away, and he's a lovely bloke, so he sent down a bag whilst he's watching for fires, and we sent him up a couple of treats.
That's one way of doing it. There's the afternoon tea delivery. That's how we do it in Australia. We loaded up with a Cassius grill, MyCOOLMAN cupware, sausage rolls, pies, he had everything, even had fruit tarts for afternoon tea. He's the happiest fire lookout man in the whole area.
What's new, matey, to bringing up your lunch?
What are you doing up there, spotting for fires?
Yeah.
We had a quick break at the top of Mount Hickey. What goes up must come down. So straight down a massive hill.
A little bit bumpy down here, guys. A few more rocks. Surprise, surprise.
Today's been about rocks. It's all about rocks. It's just been rocks everywhere.
Brilliant to see all the crevices, the loose rock. It got a little bit damp even down at the bottom of the forest.
It's very dry out here at the moment, so finding any water on the tracks or any mud wasn't something we expected.
Good to get the tyres wet and then come through it, look up and go, oh my God, I got to get out the other side of this. So to give a bit of pedal to the metal and get up it.
And then Simon calls across and says, everyone's going to want to have a look at this track.
Holy moly, she's a bit of a ripper.
I'll have a crack at that.
Look at that.
When you're looking up and you're thinking, bloody hell, that's a fair climb.
I couldn't work out if this was just an Iveco and a 6x6 track or if it was something that all vehicles are going to try.
I thought Simon can drive that or the other guys, but that's certainly not for me.
She's loose, all right.
We watched Simon go up and basically bounce his trailer around.
I tell you, he lifted the wheel, must have been a metre in there, he hit a rock and the trailer just took off.
That's a ripper of a climb.
We took the 6-wheel drive and like everything else, up we went. It just takes it in its stride.
Went up the middle, crossed across, stayed really high on the ridges.
He looked like an excavator going across it sideways and didn't even look like there was any ruts.
Once we got to the top, we came down and watched all the other guys go up.
Very rutted, roughly 5 or 6 metres wide. It looked quite bad at the bottom, but there was a massive amount of traction. I was actually able to click the next gear and just take off up the hill.
They all convinced me to give it a go. Luckily, Cliff, he joined me in the car.
And he's learning this. This is his second morning in a four-wheel drive car, so he had some tension going on.
Keep going. Well, that's it. Stop.
We slipped into a bit of a rut and we had to readdress it.
With Cliff's advice and also Simon's directions, it was pretty straightforward.
We just got up the hill. We missed the big boulder, we missed the route, and he went really, really well.
You did all right, mate.
Jace in the Cooper truck did a really good job too. He's only 4th or 5th day driving like this.
So I was able to, one, test myself, but also push the car and the capabilities of the tyres. For this trip, we've brought the Holden Colorado out. We've just decked that out now with a brand new set of ST Maxes. Previous between that, I had AT3s. Great all-rounder, but to get into the ST Max, it's that 50-50 tyre, a little bit more nuggety, a little bit more tougher for the off-road stuff. And today we really got an opportunity to test it. It was good to have a solid base under you and have a tyre that gripped and gave you the drive that you needed.
Had the front and rear diff locks on, made sure I kept the momentum up. It's tricky to see because you're kind of going over almost blind. Managed to avoid the major rocks, and once you got sort of halfway up, it kind of eased off a bit and it became a bit easier.
I'd watched Simon go left, which was hard. I'd watched people go right, which seemed pretty easy. I wanted to try and go through the middle.
The Raptor, oh, did it launch up one of these hills. Got it about halfway up and then had to pick another line.
Simon directed me out, made sure my wheels were pointing the right way and got me back down the bottom.
You'll come straight up these ruts here.
Copy that. And we hit it at a different line. Got up the top, no issues whatsoever.
I've got the rear diff locker in. I'm in 4 low, first gear. All right, here we go. This track was just brilliant. Everyone had taken a different line, different approach. Good spotting, good vehicles, good teamwork. Everyone got up to the top of it.
Wazza!
Was actually quite a steep, ledgy downhill. It was a proper hill. It went for probably 500 metres of just constant downhill.
If you're running the right pressures, you're really able to take your feet off all the pedals and just let the car slowly crawl down the hill. Got a lot of different experience in this group, and I was jumping in and out of the Cooper car and the MyCOOL car, just giving them a little bit of help.
So you're right, so we missed that as well. We don't want to fall into there. He jumped in the car with other people and left me by myself a couple of times, which was great because he had the confidence in me to do it.
With one downhill descent, which looked all right, but everyone was being a bit cautious. Diff lockers were turned on, tyre pressures were down, everyone was watching what they're doing.
Safety is the most important thing. You know, cars can be replaced, but lives can't be.
Any level should be out here, having a look, having a go, spending time out here. Fresh country air, what could be better?
Got to the bottom of one of the descents, went up a bit of a valley, and we came up to the final climb of the day. It looked quite imposing, but once you pick the right lines, it wasn't too bad. Very loose shale, small rocks, not too many big rocks, but a really loose underfoot. Needed the diff locks, got to the top without a problem.
At the bottom there was a tree and it split around the tree and it went off in a couple of different directions. There was no set direction, there was no set line. It was basically playing as you saw it.
The beauty about the track out of it, this craily, loose rock, and we're thinking, oh, this is going to be interesting. Pedal to the metal, got it nice and consistent, up with the diff locker, good quality tyres, made it all the way to the top, no problem whatsoever.
End of day two, day filled with lots of sunscreen and a bit of dust. It's a bit different from yesterday, which is where I do a lot of driving out in the Woods Point area.
It's not only the driving, it's also nice to sit together with someone during the day and share that experience.
About technology and pressures and applications.
Great if they can talk about it to the customer.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Benefit of 5 forests in 5 days is we're not too far from Melbourne. What I'm able to do is bring all of my guys along and allow them to get the experience.
We've decided to put a few different people in the car over this period so everyone gets a shot.
Tomorrow Mark's coming along, so it's a really cool experience for all of our team to learn how to drive these tyres really well.
Tallarook was the second day. We missed out on the first. It was a really awesome day. Really looking forward to what Blackwood has to offer and the Wombat State Forest.
Yay, I'm pumped because I might be driving.
My memory of Tallarook, a lot of rocks. Day one in Woods Point, great weather. We've been very fortunate today here in Tallarook. Hot, dry day, just hiding out in the shade. End of day 2 and really looking forward to day 3 and the Wombat State Forest.
Tallarook in one sentence to sum it up: easy, close from Melbourne, and a hell of a lot of fun.
That's Tallarook done and definitely dusted. Join us next week for a wet day of wheeling on the west side.